Hello, my name is Jenny Schmidt, Director of Liturgy and Music here at St. Francis, and today I am with Jenny and Mike Schmidt, not related, they have a T at the end of their name. I don't have a T at the end of my name, but I'm nonetheless very excited to have them with me today in our new series called Stories of Faith. And our hope in this new series is to bring to you, the parishioner of St. Francis, and even those of you beyond, a little bit of our community and stories of faith of the parishioners at the St. Francis of Assisi community in West Des Moines. So Jenny and Mike, thanks for coming today.
Sure, our pleasure. Thanks for asking.
You're very welcome. I'm just very excited to meet you both and to hear your story and share a little bit of your faith with everyone. So my first question is what I like to ask all married couples. How did you two meet?
We met after Mass at St. Paul the Apostle Catholic Church in Davenport, Iowa. I remember standing with the choir director and the former choir director and another parishioner, and the priest came walking down the ramp into the entrance area, and there was a young lady with him, and I remember he introduced us, and there was light coming through the window and caught her hair, and it looked extra red, and it just caught my eye. But we had a nice, calm conversation. It wasn't a love at first sight kind of scenario, but definitely enjoyed meeting each other and exchanged contact info, and I invited her to do a couple of group things.
Oh, wonderful.
Before we started dating, which was really, I thought it was a very nice way to go with some other Catholic young adults.
Yeah.
So we had both moved to Davenport for work.
Okay.
And Mike had lived there for quite a long time. And then I had moved in and went to the local Catholic church and had been going for a couple months. And then Father wanted to meet the new parishioners, and so arranged a time to meet with him. And that was the day when he asked me, hey, do you want to join the choir, right? Do you want to help out with, Sunday school or whatever it was? And I said, I just want to meet other young people. And the infamous walk. And so Father Tony Harold from St. Paul the Apostle is the one that gets credit officially for the introduction.
That's really beautiful. And then you guys, sounds like through your groups, developed a friendship and then went on to dating, and the rest is history.
Yes.
As they say.
Yes.
How wonderful. So then you guys meet, get married, and somehow you get to Des Moines and come to St. Francis. So tell us that story. How did you guys become parishioners of St. Francis of Assisi?
Yeah, so we had felt a calling to come to Des Moines, just some things going on with our life, felt like God was calling us to move here. So our story is a little bit backwards. We didn't move for jobs. We moved due to some association we had, and just felt like God was saying this was the place for us. And so we were reflecting on our life, and I had moved quite a bit for work and had always known where I was going to work and found a place to live that had a good commute, because I don't like stoplights. But that wasn't our story this time, and we were now married. And so we said, well, what's most important in our life? And for us, it was really a church community and having access to daily Mass. And we knew that we were going to make frequent trips to the church. And so we started praying, well, what church do you want us to go to? And so over a series of several weeks, I guess, of praying, the answers started coming, and we met several people within a short period of time who raved about St. Francis of Assisi in West Des Moines. And without us asking, we would just say, hey, we're moving to Des Moines. And they're like, oh, there's a really good church there. Have you heard of it? St. Francis. And so felt like the Holy Spirit was talking to us, and we said that must be where we're supposed to be.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Our first introduction to the parish, we had just been in from out of town for the weekend for a leadership conference, and we were, make a point of masstimes.org, where should we go to church? And we found a close one and a time that worked. So we came to St. Francis, and it was like, all right. And then it wasn't so long after that all these people started raving about it, and it's like, oh, that's the church where we went.
So we didn't make the decision based on how awesome the priest was or how much it resonated. We, I guess, felt like we took that step based on what we felt like God was asking us to do. And it's been great.
Wow. That is definitely a different way to find a parish than what you normally hear. And I have to say, I'm going to be really honest, we had very little preparation for this video. This is the first time I'm hearing this story, and this is mind-blowing to me, ladies and gentlemen. So that's amazing. And now you guys have children, and how many children do you have?
4.
4.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a very unique story about how you came about having your children. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you bet. When we were dating and engaged, we talked about things like having kids, and we both felt called to be parents from a young age. And we have a fertility journey and a whole story there. We both expected to be conceiving a child on our honeymoon, and it didn't work out like that. God had other plans for us. But we'd also discussed that we were both open to both adoption or being foster parents along the way, and but didn't feel called to it at that time. So we continued using NFP and trying to conceive for a while, and it was during Lent, actually in 2019. God put it on our hearts again through a couple of closely spaced things where foster care came up seemingly out of the blue with people who didn't know each other, didn't know that, it was necessarily on our minds or on our hearts, but really felt like God was calling us to pursue that. So we started exploring it, and it actually takes quite a bit of time to go through the process to be certified foster parents. But we completed that process in 2019, got our license in November, or in December, I guess. And then we were just waiting, and it's like we figured any day we'd be getting a call. And it was a week, and it was another week, and we're like, oh my gosh, what's taking so long? Which in retrospect was the blink of an eye. But January 10th of 2020, two wonderful kids joined our household. And then 6 months later, we actually had the opportunity to bring their baby brother. So then we had three, starting July 1st of last year. And then, and we had said we don't want anyone older 12. We're first-time parents, like, give us some time to get to the teenage years, please. And then a Catholic family we know in Des Moines, not part of our parish, but someone who we know, said, there's this young man who goes to the Basilica, and he's going to Mass by himself. And there were other aspects of his story that it just, and she said, do you know any other faithful Catholic foster parents? And I said, I don't, but it really felt like God put it on our heart that we should take him into our home as well. So
within a year, 1 year, because it's been a year since you adopted your first two.
We are foster parents.
You're just fostering all of these, but so it's been a year since you first started fostering the first two. You have had 4 kids join your house.
Yes.
Yeah, we went from 0 to 4 in 10 months. So not a normal story, but just feel like, we prayed for a long time and we were faithful and again, followed God's call, not in the way we thought, but we're obedient, and boy, did he bless us. So, we say, watch out what you pray for, because, God brings the blessings, and it's been amazing. Our hope is to be able to have them as a part of our family permanently, but we're still a part of that process now. So
just enjoying the journey as it is right now. Awesome. So you have a very unique story, and it's really beautiful, and you've shared already a little how your faith, how God played a role in that. But I would love to invite you to speak more to that. How in your journey from meeting to finding St. Francis as a parish to your journey into parenthood, how important, how was God and your faith, and how did it manifest throughout all of those we'll call them mile markers in your path to today?
Yeah, obviously our story shows kind of that relationship we have with God, and for us it really does start with prayer individually, and then we kind of talk about it. Adoration has been really important to us, specifically since we moved to Des Moines. We regularly go to adoration, and it's amazing the insights we get after adoration, and almost kind of comparing notes, not necessarily week by week, but what is God saying to you, what is God saying to me? And when we both kind of end up with the same answer, it's an affirmation. And it's not usually the answer that we expect. And so there also, I guess, is a spirit of openness to really submitting ourselves to God's will, even if it's not what we expect. And so far, it's been amazing. We waited a long time to meet each other, and God knew that we were supposed to be together, even though it felt like a really, really long time to wait. And same with kids. Lots of tears, lots of questions, why? And yet at the same time, you know, a young lady chose life and birthed some children, and at, you know, January of 2020, our paths crossed, and we're just so grateful that God had a plan, even if we didn't know it, and we were at least open enough to hear it.
That's awesome. And one last question about your faith. You have such a beautiful story of perseverance in waiting, and I just would ask if you would share a little of how that works in your faith life. How do you persevere when you have to wait?
It's hard.
It's very hard, yeah.
It's very hard. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of the story of our faith journey. There was a lot of waiting. I've been told God always answers prayer, and sometimes he says yes, and sometimes he says no, but sometimes his yes is yes, not yet.
Yeah.
Which is really frustrating, but I've learned over the course of time that he's giving me an opportunity to grow, to deepen my desire for that good thing that I'm seeking, and to purify my desire. So as a young single man, when I wanted to get married and I wanted to have kids and like, let's go, he was able to purify my desire for my bride in a way that I prayed for my bride without having met Jenny yet, for years before I met her, but she was still receiving blessings from God through this process, and our marriage is better because of it, I have no doubt. And one thing that's been really powerful for me especially, but for us, is to pray together. We pray every morning together. That's something we didn't start out doing right when we got married, but it's been a really powerful, wonderful consolation in our marriage.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Oh, do you have something to
The
add
only
to
thing
that?
I would add is just, you know, looking for the small moments where God does speak to us and gives us comfort. So it's not like we went years and years without hearing anything from God. It's really the small nudges that says wait, that says I've got you, that says yes, it's going to happen. And so that really kind of has been a lifeline as well.
Yeah.
He doesn't give us the whole answer, but he gives us assurance one piece at a time.
Yeah, those little affirmations are really helpful, right? Yes. Well, thank you both for your time, your vulnerability, and for just your authentic witness of our faith. And we thank Jenny and Mike Schmidt for their time today, and join us next time for Stories of Faith. Take care.